Welcome to the CPHIMS Exam Preparation Podcast. In this episode, we'll explore how to analyze and interpret business documentation to promote system changes and/or implementations, for example, RFPs, RFIs, SLAs, SOWs, NDAs, etc. The analysis and interpretation of business documentation are crucial in guiding decision-making processes related to system changes or implementations in healthcare IT. This involves understanding various types of documents such as Request for Proposals, RFPs, Request for Information, RFIs, Service Level Agreements, SLAs, Statements of Work, SOWs, Non-Disclosure Agreements, NDAs, Risk Assessment and Mitigation, Legal and Compliance Review, Stakeholder Communication. Let's delve into each Request for Proposals, RFPs, Request for Information, RFIs. Navigating the intricacies of Request for Proposals, RFPs, and Request for Information, RFIs, is a pivotal skill in the healthcare IT landscape. These documents serve as the foundational communication between healthcare organizations seeking solutions and vendors offering their services. Understanding and responding to them effectively is crucial for any vendor aiming to successfully engage with and secure healthcare IT projects. Purpose and requirements of RFPs and RFIs. RFPs, Request for Proposals. Objective: RFPs are issued by organizations when they have a specific project or need in mind and are seeking detailed proposals from potential vendors. In healthcare IT, this could range from implementing a new electronic health record (EHR) system to upgrading cybersecurity measures. Content: an RFP outlines the project scope, desired functionalities, integration requirements with existing systems, timeline for implementation, and budget constraints. It seeks not just a quote but a comprehensive proposal on how the vendor will meet these requirements. RFIs, Request for Information. Objective: RFIs are more exploratory than RFPs. Organizations issue RFIs to gather general information about the capabilities, products, and services of various vendors. This step often precedes the issuance of an RFP. Content: an RFI asks for information about the vendor's experience, range of services, and possibly preliminary ideas on how they might approach the organization's needs. It's less about proposing a specific solution and more about showcasing capabilities. Response preparation for RFPs and RFIs. Responding to these documents requires a strategic approach to ensure alignment with the issuer's needs while highlighting your unique value proposition. For RFPs, thorough analysis. Begin by meticulously analyzing the RFP document. Understand the explicit and implicit needs of the healthcare organization. Pay attention to the problem they're trying to solve, not just the technical specifications they request. Tailored proposals. Use the insights gained from the RFP to craft a proposal that speaks directly to the issuer's needs. Include detailed methodologies, technologies proposed, project timelines, and clear evidence of how your solution meets or exceeds their requirements. Highlight integration capabilities. Given the emphasis on integrating with existing systems in healthcare IT, specifically address how your solution can seamlessly integrate, including any previous experience with similar integrations. For RFIs, showcase broad capabilities. While RFIs are less about specific solutions, use this opportunity to comprehensively present your company's capabilities. Highlight areas of expertise, innovation, and adaptability to different healthcare IT needs. Case studies and references. Include examples of previous projects that demonstrate your ability to deliver on similar requirements. Case studies, client testimonials, or reference projects can significantly strengthen your response. Future engagement. Position your response to lay the groundwork for future RFP responses. Demonstrate eagerness to understand and meet the organization's broader strategic goals, paving the way for a tailored and compelling proposal when an RFP is issued. Best practices in responding. Customization. Avoid generic responses. Tailor each proposal or information submission to reflect the issuer's language, priorities, and specific challenges. Clarity and conciseness. Ensure your proposals are clear, concise, and well-structured. Use bullet points, tables, and headings to enhance readability and make key points stand out. Compliance and requirements. Carefully address all compliance and regulatory requirements, a critical aspect in healthcare IT. Show understanding and readiness to meet these standards. Follow-up. After submitting a response, proactive follow-up can demonstrate your commitment and interest in the project. It also provides an opportunity to clarify any points and offer additional information. Summary. Understanding and responding to RFPs and RFIs with well-thought-out, comprehensive proposals is key to success in the competitive field of healthcare IT. These documents are not just formalities but opportunities to demonstrate how your solutions can address complex healthcare challenges, making a compelling case for why your services stand out. Let's move to the next topic. Service Level Agreements, SLAs. Service Level Agreements, SLAs, are fundamental components in the provision of healthcare IT services, setting the expectations for service quality and reliability between providers and healthcare organizations. A well-defined SLA ensures that both parties have a clear understanding of service standards, performance metrics, support response times, and the consequences of failing to meet these agreed-upon criteria. Effective interpretation and management of SLAs are crucial for maintaining the integrity and efficiency of healthcare IT systems, which are integral to patient care and operational success. Service standards. Understanding expectations. Uptime guarantees. SLAs specify the expected availability of systems and services, typically represented as a percentage of uptime. For healthcare IT, where access to patient records and critical systems is essential, high uptime guarantees are crucial. Performance metrics. These include specific benchmarks related to system responsiveness, transaction times, and other performance indicators that impact the usability and efficiency of healthcare IT services. Support response times. SLAs outline the expected timelines for responding to and resolving issues. Given the critical nature of healthcare operations, rapid response times are often mandated to minimize disruptions to patient care. Evaluating service levels. Regularly review performance reports against SLA standards to ensure service providers are consistently meeting or exceeding the agreed-upon metrics. Conduct periodic meetings with service providers to discuss performance, address any areas of concern, and adjust service levels as necessary to adapt to changing healthcare IT needs. Compliance and penalties. Compliance requirements. SLAs often include compliance with healthcare regulations, such as HIPAA in the United States, which governs the privacy and security of patient information. Ensuring that IT services are in full compliance is non-negotiable. Data security standards are also outlined, requiring providers to implement robust security measures to protect sensitive healthcare data from breaches and cyber threats. Penalties for non-compliance. SLAs define the penalties or remedial actions to be taken if service levels are not met. These can include financial penalties, service credits, or specific corrective actions that the service provider must undertake. In the context of healthcare IT, the implications of noncompliance can extend beyond financial penalties, impacting patient care and the organization's reputation. Therefore, SLAs may also include provisions for emergency response measures and contingency planning. Best practices for managing SLAs in healthcare IT. Clear definitions and benchmarks. Ensure that all service levels and performance metrics are clearly defined and agreed upon. Include specific benchmarks and measurement methods to avoid ambiguity. Regular monitoring and reporting. Implement a system for continuous monitoring of service levels and regular reporting by the service provider. This transparency allows for proactive management of service quality. Flexibility and scalability. As healthcare IT needs evolve, SLAs should be periodically reviewed and updated to ensure they remain aligned with organizational goals and technological advancements. Collaborative approach. Treat SLA management as a collaborative effort between the healthcare organization and the service provider. Open communication and mutual understanding are key to adapting services and resolving issues efficiently. Risk management. Incorporate risk management strategies within the SLA, detailing procedures for data breaches, system downtimes, and other IT emergencies. This includes clear communication channels and predefined escalation paths. In summary, SLAs in healthcare IT are not just contractual obligations but pivotal frameworks that ensure the delivery of critical services meets the high standards required for patient care and operational efficiency. By effectively interpreting, managing, and adhering to these agreements, healthcare organizations can ensure the reliability, security, and performance of their IT systems. Let's move to the next topic. Statements of work, SOWs. Statements of work, SOWs, are critical documents in the planning and execution of healthcare IT projects. They provide a comprehensive outline of the project scope, including the task to be accomplished, deliverables, timelines, and the responsibilities of all parties involved. Understanding and effectively managing SOWs is essential for ensuring that projects are completed on time, within budget, and to the required standards of quality. Project scope and deliverables. Analyzing SOWs for comprehensive understanding. Defining the project scope, the SOW should clearly define the boundaries of the project, specifying what is included and what is not. This clarity helps prevent scope creep, ensuring that the project remains focused and manageable. Detailing deliverables. Each deliverable should be clearly described in the SOW, including any specific standards or requirements they must meet. This ensures that all parties have a shared understanding of what the project's outcome should be. Establishing timelines. The SOW should provide a detailed schedule for the project, including milestones and deadlines for each phase of work. This timeline is crucial for tracking progress and ensuring timely completion. Assigning responsibilities. Clearly outlining the responsibilities of each party involved in the project helps ensure accountability. This includes specifying who is responsible for each task, as well as who has approval authority at each stage of the project. Ensuring effective project planning and management. Regular reviews. Conduct regular reviews of the SOW with all stakeholders to ensure that the project remains on track and in alignment with the original goals. Flexibility for adjustments. Be prepared to make adjustments to the SOW as the project progresses. Changes may be necessary due to unforeseen challenges or opportunities to improve the project's outcomes. Resource allocation. Assessing resource requirements. Identifying needed resources. The SOW should specify the resources required for the project, including personnel, technology, and facilities. This includes both the quantity and the quality or specifications of the required resources. Planning for resource allocation. Use the information in the SOW to develop a comprehensive plan for resource allocation. This plan should ensure that all necessary resources are available when and where they are needed, without overallocation or waste. Ensuring adequate allocation and planning. Budgeting. Develop a detailed budget based on the resource requirements outlined in the SOW. This budget should account for all costs associated with the project, including direct costs like labor and materials, as well as indirect costs such as overhead. Contingency planning. Include contingency plans in your resource allocation to address potential shortages or delays. This might involve identifying alternative sources of critical resources or allocating additional time for certain tasks. Best practices for managing SOWs in healthcare IT. Clarity and precision. Ensure that the SOW is written in clear, precise language to avoid misunderstandings. Avoid jargon and technical terms that might be unclear to some stakeholders. Collaboration and communication. Develop the SOW in collaboration with all key stakeholders, including end users and IT personnel. Open communication throughout the project is essential for addressing issues as they arise. Monitoring and reporting. Establish a system for monitoring progress against the SOW and reporting to stakeholders. This should include regular updates on milestones, resource usage, and any deviations from the plan. Risk management. Incorporate risk management strategies into the SOW, identifying potential risks to the project and outlining measures to mitigate these risks. Summary. By carefully analyzing and managing SOWs, healthcare organizations can ensure that IT projects are executed effectively, delivering maximum value and supporting the organization's strategic objectives. Let's move to the next topic. Non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. Non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, are critical legal contracts used in healthcare to protect sensitive information, including patient data, proprietary technology, and intellectual property. In the context of healthcare IT projects, NDAs ensure that all parties involved in the project understand their obligations regarding the confidentiality and handling of protected health information, PHI, and other sensitive data. Given the stringent regulations governing patient privacy, such as HIPAA in the United States, adhering to NDAs is not just a legal requirement but also a cornerstone of ethical healthcare practice. Confidentiality obligations. Reviewing NDAs for confidentiality. Understanding obligations. It's crucial to thoroughly review the NDA to understand the specific confidentiality obligations it imposes. This includes identifying the types of information considered confidential and the conditions under which this information can be used or disclosed. Healthcare-specific considerations. Given the sensitivity of patient data, healthcare NDAs often include detailed provisions regarding the handling of PHI. These provisions should align with legal requirements for patient data protection, ensuring that all measures are taken to safeguard this information. Ensuring compliance. Training and awareness. Ensure that all team members involved in the project are aware of the NDA's requirements and understand the importance of maintaining confidentiality. Regular training sessions can help reinforce these obligations. Data handling procedures. Implement strict data handling procedures that comply with the NDA's terms. This includes secure storage of confidential information, controlled access based on need-to-know principles, and secure methods of data transfer. Scope and limitations. Determining the scope of the NDA. Broad versus specific NDAs. The scope of an NDA can vary widely. Some NDAs are broad, covering all information exchanged during the project, while others are more specific, listing the exact types of information considered confidential. Understanding the scope is essential for ensuring that all sensitive information is adequately protected. Duration of confidentiality. Pay attention to the NDA's terms regarding the duration of confidentiality obligations. Some NDAs specify that the obligation to keep information confidential lasts indefinitely, while others may set a time limit. Identifying limitations and exceptions. Legal and regulatory exceptions. Most NDAs include exceptions for information that is required to be disclosed by law or regulation. In healthcare, this might include mandatory reporting of certain health data to governmental bodies, pre-existing knowledge, information that was already known to the recipient prior to the project, or that is independently developed without reference to the confidential information, is typically excluded from the confidentiality obligations. Best practices for managing NDAs in healthcare IT. Clear definitions. Ensure that the NDA clearly defines what constitutes confidential information and any exclusions. Ambiguities in the agreement can lead to misunderstandings and unintentional breaches of confidentiality. Regular review and updates. Review NDAs regularly and update them as necessary to reflect changes in project scope, team composition, or legal requirements. This is particularly important in long-term projects where the scope may evolve over time. Data privacy compliance. Align the NDA's terms with applicable data privacy laws and regulations. This includes ensuring that any data transfer, especially across borders, complies with legal requirements for data protection. Incident response plan. Have a plan in place for responding to potential breaches of confidentiality. This should include steps for mitigating the breach, notifying affected parties if necessary, and documenting the incident and response actions taken. In summary, NDAs play a vital role in protecting sensitive information in healthcare IT projects. Understanding and adhering to these agreements is essential for maintaining the trust of patients and partners, complying with legal requirements, and ensuring the successful execution of healthcare IT initiatives. Let's move to the next topic. Risk assessment and mitigation. Risk assessment and mitigation are critical components of project management in healthcare IT, ensuring that potential issues are identified early and addressed proactively to avoid impacts on project outcomes, patient care, and data security. This process involves a thorough examination of project documentation, collaboration agreements, and system specifications to identify areas of vulnerability and develop effective strategies to mitigate these risks. Identifying risks. Systematic identification process. Review project documentation. Thoroughly review all project documents, including SOWs, NDAs, SLAs, RFPs, and RFIs, to understand the project's scope, deliverables, timelines, and obligations. This review can highlight areas of potential concern, such as overly ambitious timelines, unclear responsibilities, or technical challenges. Technical and operational risks. Identify risks related to the technology being implemented or upgraded, including compatibility issues with existing systems, potential data migration challenges, and security vulnerabilities. Operational risks may include potential disruptions to patient care services or internal workflows during the implementation phase. Regulatory and compliance risks. Healthcare IT projects must comply with a range of regulations concerning patient data privacy and security, such as HIPAA in the U.S. Failure to meet these regulatory requirements poses significant legal and reputational risks. Human factors. Consider risks associated with the project team and other stakeholders, including potential resistance to change, training needs, and the availability of key personnel. Mitigation strategies. Developing comprehensive mitigation plans. Technical safeguards. Implement technical safeguards such as encryption, secure access controls, and regular security audits to protect against data breaches and ensure system integrity. Change management programs. Develop and implement change management strategies to address human factors and operational risks. This includes comprehensive training programs, clear communication about the benefits of the project, and mechanisms for collecting and addressing feedback from users. Project management best practices. Use project management best practices to mitigate operational and technical risks. This includes establishing clear project milestones, regular progress reviews, contingency planning, and flexible resource allocation to address unforeseen challenges. Regulatory compliance measures. Ensure that all aspects of the project, from data handling to system functionality, comply with relevant regulations. Conduct regular compliance audits and engage legal or regulatory experts to review project plans and documentation. Vendor and stakeholder engagement. Work closely with vendors and other stakeholders to ensure clear communication and shared understanding of project goals, responsibilities, and risk mitigation strategies. Vendor support can be crucial in addressing technical risks and ensuring system compatibility. Best practices for risk assessment and mitigation in healthcare IT. Early and ongoing assessment. Conduct risk assessments early in the project planning phase and continuously throughout the project lifecycle. As projects evolve, new risks may emerge, necessitating ongoing vigilance and adjustment of mitigation strategies. Stakeholder involvement. Engage a wide range of stakeholders in the risk assessment process, including IT staff, healthcare providers, patients, where appropriate, and regulatory experts. Different perspectives can provide valuable insights into potential risks and effective mitigation strategies. Documentation and tracking. Maintain comprehensive documentation of identified risks, mitigation strategies, and outcomes of mitigation efforts. This documentation can provide valuable insights for future projects and support regulatory compliance efforts. Leverage technology. Utilize project management and risk assessment tools to track risks, assign mitigation tasks, and monitor the effectiveness of mitigation efforts. Technology can provide a centralized platform for managing risks and ensuring accountability. Summary. By systematically identifying potential risks and developing effective mitigation strategies, healthcare IT projects can navigate the complexities of system changes and implementations more successfully, minimizing disruptions and ensuring that project outcomes align with organizational goals and regulatory requirements. Let's move to the next topic. Legal and compliance review. Legal and compliance reviews are indispensable components of managing healthcare IT projects, ensuring that all aspects of system changes or implementations adhere to the stringent regulatory framework governing healthcare and protect the organization against legal risks. This stage involves a thorough examination of documentation, systems, and processes to verify compliance with healthcare regulations, like the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, in the United States, and other applicable laws and standards. It also encompasses seeking legal counsel to navigate complex contractual terms and regulatory landscapes. Regulatory compliance. Ensuring adherence to healthcare regulations. Comprehensive documentation review. Review all project-related documentation, including SOWs, NDAs, SLAs, RFPs, and RFIs, to ensure that they include provisions for compliance with relevant healthcare regulations. This review should cover data privacy, security requirements, and patient rights. System compliance. Assess the proposed IT systems and changes for compliance with healthcare regulations. This includes data encryption standards, access controls, audit trails, and data breach notification protocols. The goal is to ensure that patient data is protected at every stage of the project, from development through implementation and beyond. Training and awareness. Ensure that all team members involved in the project are trained on relevant healthcare regulations and understand their roles in maintaining compliance. Regular training sessions can help reinforce the importance of compliance and keep staff updated on any changes in the regulatory landscape. Addressing specific regulatory requirements. HIPAA compliance. For projects in the U.S., ensure that all system changes or implementations meet HIPAA requirements for the protection of PHI. This includes conducting risk assessments, implementing physical and technical safeguards, and ensuring that PHI is only shared in accordance with HIPAA rules. Global regulations. For organizations operating in multiple countries or regions, compliance with international regulations, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in the European Union, must also be considered. This may require additional measures to ensure data protection and privacy across different jurisdictions. Legal consultation. Engaging legal expertise. Contractual terms. Work with legal experts to review and negotiate complex contractual terms with vendors and partners. This includes scrutinizing indemnity clauses, liability limitations, and dispute resolution mechanisms to protect the organization's interests. Regulatory navigation. Legal counsel can provide invaluable guidance in navigating the complexities of healthcare regulations. They can help interpret regulatory requirements, advise on compliance strategies, and represent the organization in dealings with regulatory bodies. Intellectual property, IP, protection. Ensure that the project does not infringe on the IP rights of others and that the organization's own IP is adequately protected. Legal experts can advise on patent, copyright, and trademark issues related to healthcare IT solutions. Best practices for legal and compliance review. Early and ongoing engagement. Involve legal and compliance teams early in the project planning process and keep them engaged throughout the project lifecycle. This proactive approach can help identify potential legal and compliance issues before they become problems. Clear communication. Maintain clear and open communication channels between project teams and legal/compliance departments. This ensures that any legal or regulatory concerns are promptly addressed and that project decisions are informed by legal and compliance considerations. Documentation and record keeping. Keep detailed records of all legal and compliance reviews, decisions, and actions taken. This documentation can be critical in demonstrating compliance efforts to regulatory bodies or in legal proceedings. Summary. By integrating legal and compliance reviews into the healthcare IT project management process, organizations can ensure that system changes and implementations are not only effective and efficient but also fully compliant with the complex regulatory landscape of healthcare. Engaging legal expertise and maintaining a focus on regulatory compliance are key strategies for minimizing legal risks and safeguarding patient data privacy and security. Let's move to the last topic: stakeholder communication. Stakeholder communication is a pivotal aspect of managing healthcare IT projects, ensuring that all parties involved are informed, engaged, and aligned with the project's goals and progress. Effective communication facilitates transparency, builds trust, and fosters a collaborative environment conducive to the successful completion of projects. Incorporating feedback from stakeholders into the project's planning and execution phases further enhances the project's relevance and effectiveness, addressing the needs and concerns of those it impacts directly. Effective communication. Strategies for communicating with stakeholders. Regular updates. Establish a regular cadence for updates and communications throughout the project lifecycle. This could be in the form of weekly email newsletters, monthly project review meetings, or real-time dashboards that provide up-to-date information on project progress. Tailored communication. Recognize that different stakeholders may require different levels of detail or focus in communications. For example, IT teams might need in-depth technical updates, whereas management may require high-level progress reports and key milestone achievements. Clear and concise messaging. Ensure that communications are clear, concise, and jargon-free, especially when explaining complex IT concepts to non-technical stakeholders. Use visuals, such as charts and graphs, to illustrate points and make data more accessible. Open channels for dialogue. Encourage open communication by establishing clear channels through which stakeholders can ask questions, provide input, and express concerns. This could be through regular Q&A sessions, dedicated email addresses for project inquiries, or an internal project forum or chat group. Feedback integration. Incorporating stakeholder feedback into project planning. Feedback collection mechanisms. Implement mechanisms for collecting feedback from stakeholders at various stages of the project. This could involve surveys, feedback forms during meetings, or direct interviews with key stakeholders. Analysis and prioritization. Systematically analyze the feedback to identify common themes, concerns, and suggestions. Prioritize these based on their impact on the project's success, feasibility, and alignment with project objectives. Action plans. Develop action plans for addressing the feedback, whether it involves making adjustments to the project plan, providing additional training for users, or enhancing communication strategies. Clearly communicate back to stakeholders how their feedback is being addressed, closing the feedback loop. Adaptive project management. Adopt an adaptive project management approach that allows for flexibility and adjustments based on stakeholder feedback. This approach recognizes that project plans may need to evolve in response to new information or changing stakeholder needs. Best practices for stakeholder communication. Stakeholder mapping. At the project's outset, conduct stakeholder mapping to identify all parties affected by the project, understand their interests and influence, and determine the most effective ways to engage them. Communication plan. Develop a comprehensive communication plan that outlines the objectives, methods, frequency, and responsibilities for stakeholder communication. This plan should be dynamic and adaptable to changing project needs and stakeholder feedback. Proactive issue management. Be proactive in communicating potential issues or delays to stakeholders, along with mitigation plans or adjustments to project timelines. Transparency in facing challenges builds trust and fosters a collaborative problem-solving environment. Celebrating successes. Share successes and milestones with stakeholders to maintain enthusiasm and support for the project. Recognizing contributions and achievements can motivate continued engagement and collaboration. Summary. Effective stakeholder communication and the integration of feedback are essential for the success of healthcare IT projects. By ensuring that stakeholders are informed, heard, and actively involved in the project, organizations can navigate the complexities of healthcare IT implementations more smoothly and achieve outcomes that truly meet the needs of all involved. As we come to the end of this podcast, remember analyzing and interpreting business documentation is a fundamental part of the process in healthcare IT system changes or implementations. It involves a deep understanding of the requirements, expectations, obligations, and risks outlined in various documents. This process ensures that healthcare IT projects are aligned with organizational needs, comply with legal and regulatory standards, and are executed effectively, ultimately supporting the delivery of high-quality healthcare services. If you found this content valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to Professional Certifications channel.